Let's move on, though, now to the NFC West team that really shocked everybody. The Seattle Seahawks made the playoffs, made a lot of big moves. Definitely comeback player of the year or most improved player of the year, Geno Smith, their quarterback. So I got a nice big contract. Congrats to him. Congrats to the Seahawks for proving a lot of people wrong. Before we break down their 7-round mock draft, if you have not already, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell notification so you can see when Ryan and I create new content. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So any help would do, and it's the easiest way to help us out to reach our goal. So, Ryan, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Just looking at their 7-round mock draft here, I love their draft. I love their draft.
They had a phenomenal draft.
Let's show them the draft that they have here. Picking at number 5, 2 first-round picks, thanks to Russell Wilson and Nathaniel Hackett. With the Jalen Carter situation and also with the fact that they have a bonus first-round pick, a lot can change between now and then. This is March 14th. But if Jalen Carter falls to them at 5, I find it really hard for them to pass up on them. And so, especially also to they just signed Draymond Jones today, and I think that he would be a great addition to that side of the ball. And so I think that that would just instantly change the whole scope of this defensive front for the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh yeah, and as you guys can see, we addressed it a little bit later on, but for me, Jalen Carter is he's an elite blue chip prospect, and I would love to see what a Pete Carroll defense could do with a defensive tackle like that. He's a little bit bigger than Michael Bennett was, but I just immediately have flashbacks to how good that pass rush was when Michael Bennett was on that team. And I love that pick. I think it's a great fit. And
especially too with the division that they're in, going up against Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers, they're gonna need a guy that can just stuff up the middle, can get after the quarterback, and that's Jalen Carter. I mean, if it wasn't for the scenario that he's in now, I could see the Cardinals honestly taking him. And so maybe the Cardinals do still take him once when more information comes out and things clear up. So let's move on, though, now to their pick 20th overall, still in the first round here. Osiris Torrance, guard from Florida, arguably the best pure interior offensive lineman in this class. And the Seahawks need to improve on the offensive line. This just seemed like too good of a pick to pass up, especially with their whole goal of beefing up the trenches on both sides of the ball. They did that with Jalen Carter. Now they're going to do it with Osiris Torrance. I think that's going to be a huge addition to that offensive side of the ball.
No, yeah. I really like this pick. I think Osiris Torrance really could go in the top 15. But I think the way this class is structured, it's going to kind of push him back a little bit. And for the Seahawks to get him here at 20, that would solidify that offensive line for me. I think you put him next to Charles Cross, and then that left side is no longer a question. And so I really like this pick. I know it's not the sexiest pick. Seahawks fans might like to see something else, but we get a little bit better as this draft goes on. So let's move on now to round 2, pick 38. One of my personal favorite edge rushers in this class, Will McDonald, the 4th, the edge out of Iowa State, had a fantastic Senior Bowl and really put his name on the map. He had a couple pass rushing sets against Darnell Wright, the tackle from Tennessee, that were just phenomenal. The first one, he took Darnell Wright and beat him with speed to the outside. And then as a 235, 240-pound edge rusher, he beat Darnell Wright on the very next rep to the inside with a nice power jab and getting to the quarterback. And so it was just really nice to see the variety of pass rushing moves and that he can win in multiple different ways against top level talent. And I think you pair him next to Jalen Carter and then now Draymond Jones. I just think this defensive line does a complete 180.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely. And as I said already, the division that they're in, they're going to need to have a great defensive front to compete with the San Francisco 49ers. And that's honestly, if you go back and look at that playoff game, that was their issue. They just got dominated in the second half by that San Francisco offensive line. So let's move on, though, now. And this is kind of a 2-for-1 defensive line, and also just getting an absolute freak of an athlete in Darnell Washington. People kind of forgot about him, and so did I. until we saw him at the combine and how big he
Yeah.
was, how fast he was. I think he ran a 4.64 or something like that.
Yeah,
and
like
his
mid
size,
4.6s.
yeah,
And he
so
was
it's like super,
the heaviest
yeah.
tight end by like 10 pounds.
Well, super smooth hands as well, and he can block. It's crazy to think too. Shows you how good Brock Bowers is. He was the number 2 tight end at Georgia this year, and this dude would be a number 1 tight end on any other college team. I think adding him in would be a huge benefit, not only then just for helping the offensive line, but also then opening up that entire playbook to where he can go out and catch passes. Great goal line threat as well.
Yeah.
So this would send this offense to another level.
No, yeah, he's basically a bonus tackle also in the blocking game, and he moves so well. And as we saw at the combine, getting him out in space, I think with Kenneth Walker behind him is giving the NFC West teams nightmares. So yeah, and then I think you couple him with our next pick, round 3, pick 84, Parker Washington, the wide receiver from Penn State. He's about 5'10", 210 pounds. And he's not going to wow you with his athleticism, but he runs really, really crisp routes. And the thing that impressed me the most was his hands. I think he only had 1 drop his last season and a half at Penn State. And so most consistent hands in this draft. And he just has like a little bit of that Jackson Smith and Jigba effect where he's not that athletic, but he just knows like how to sit in zones and he knows how to use cornerback leverages against the cornerback. And I really like him as a wide receiver prospect. So,
yeah, good addition to the team. I think can definitely grow and develop a little bit to potentially then also once when Tyler Lockett and the Seahawks separate, I think he could be a good replacement as well and a good complement to DK Metcalf. So, but moving on though, now they don't pick for another 60 picks in round 4 and at pick 124. Who do they select there?
Are you just saying that because you can't say his name?
I cannot say that name. Yeah.
So it's Olusegun Oluwatimi, the center from Michigan.
That was my guess.
He played center at the Senior Bowl, but he actually looked a little bit better in my opinion at guard. And so I think there'll be maybe some rotation there in trying to figure out what's best for him. But in the 4th round, you're getting a guy that has multiple years of high level college starting experience. And I like this pick. Beef up that interior, continue to kind of do that, protect Geno Smith, and then whoever they bring in later on to be the future of that franchise. So
especially at this point in the draft, I love getting offensive linemen with one, like by now you're probably going to get developmental pieces as well, or you're hoping to, but get guys with the versatility. So a guy that can play center, but also can kick out to guard adds a lot more value to him and also just kind of to the team as well, because he's not set in stone on like one specific position, based off size or overall ability. So I think that's a good value here. They're trying to beef up their offensive line. Moving on though now to their last couple of picks. In round 5, pick 153, have them taking Ali Gay, edge rusher out of LSU. Pass rush guy. I think he can add some depth and can come in and just solidify that defensive front after they've already had a really good free agency, and then also the pace that they've had as well. Maybe a little change of pace guy for that.
Yeah. To me, he's more of a situational pass rusher. He's going to be exclusively 3rd downs. Not the best against the run, but I think with some development, maybe he turns into a full-time starter. But I definitely think this year maybe get him in some situational pass rushing roles. But he's a really athletic guy. Him and B.J. Ojolari out of LSU are both fantastic edge rushers. So last couple guys here, I think we stuck to the secondary. Rashad Torrance, more of a developmental safety prospect. And he's also, I think, a little bit more of a box safety, but he's going to be playing in the box or over the slot. I just think with Jamal Adams being injured most of the time, it might be good to bring in a rotational guy that could potentially fill in for him when he's absent, and then also contribute on special teams as well. And then lastly, Cam Brown, the cornerback from Ohio State, didn't have the best season, but cornerbacks from Ohio State have pretty good pedigree. Marshawn Lattimore, Denzel Ward, and so on. So I like both of these picks. I just think good depth, and they'll both be contributors on special teams in year 1, most likely.
Yep. Yeah. In general, looking at this board right here, if you're the Seahawks fan, or if I'm a Seahawks fan, I'm signing up for this right now. Jalen Carter, Cyrus Torrance, Will McDonald, Darnell Washington, Parker Washington, your first 5 picks. That's a win. That is absolute. All those guys are contributing day one and instantly make this team better.
No, yeah, definitely. And so I really like what the direction the Seahawks are going. They surprised everybody in 2022, and I think in 2023, if they can build off that, I think they're really going to be cruising and have a solid chance to win that division. I know the 49ers looked pretty menacing, especially at the end of the season, but they actually have a lot of questions going into 2023. Like, for example, who's going to be the starting quarterback? So let's go ahead. Let's wrap them up there. Seahawks have a pretty good outlook for 2023.